also known as Kingdom Kids. We have a great lesson for you today and we're so excited.
Have you ever heard of Mr. Rogers? Well, he used to have a TV show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Miss Jill watched it all the time when she was growing up. He would begin every show the exact same way. He would enter his house, he would take off his jacket and maybe his shoes, and he would put on a sweater like Miss Jill's trying to do now. There we go, Miss Jill, good job. And he would even put on some tennis shoes to be more comfortable. Awesome. He would do this as he sang the song, "Would You Be My Neighbor?" During his show, he would greet everyone he met as a neighbor and friend, and he showed them kindness and compassion. He accepted and loved everyone, even if they were different from him. He would invite his viewers into his land of make-believe, and he used puppets to talk about different feelings, emotions, and situations kids may come across as they grew up. He would always make every child feel so special. God tells us that the greatest commandment is love your Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all of your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. This comes from Luke chapter 10, verse 27. But how do we do that? God gives us a secret. If we all just treat others the way that we want to be treated, just like the golden rule, we will always know just what to do. I think we can learn a lot from Mr. Rogers and about how God wants us to love our neighbors. But first, let's just find out who our neighbor even is.
When we think of neighbors, we think of the people that may live beside of us. We usually know them well, we may go to visit or say hello. But our neighbors aren't just the people who live near us or that are our friends or family. Neighbors are not even just the people that go to church with us or those who are Christians. Neighbors is anyone who is in need. And the Bible tells us we are to help neighbors in need. But is it always easy to help neighbors, Miss Caitlin?
No, it's not always easy. Sometimes helping our neighbor may be difficult. It may be someone who is angry or someone that hasn't really been nice to us, and it may be someone that we don't know or someone that is different than we are. It could be someone that speaks a different language or even lives in a different country. The Bible tells us in Acts chapter 10, verse 34, that to God everyone is the same. He wants us to help all of our neighbors, even if they're different from us. Let's see if Miss Amy has a story about neighbors.
One day, a man asked Jesus a question. He asked, "What can I do so I can go to heaven and live forever?" Jesus asked, "Well, what does it say in the Bible?" The man answered, "Well, it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself." "That's right," Jesus said. "Do this and you will live forever in heaven." But the man wanted to know more, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" So Jesus decided to answer this question with a story about a Jewish man walking along the road, much like this. He was coming from Jerusalem and was heading to Jericho, which was about a day or two of walking. The road was rocky and there were small hills all around. The man was just enjoying the nice day when suddenly a group of robbers jumped out from behind a hill. They beat him, took his money, stripped him of his clothes, and left him beside the road to die. Well, a priest came by, and when he saw the man, he crossed over to the other side of the road and just continued on his way. A little while later, a Levite who worked in the temple came along. He also saw the man lying there and passed by to the other side of the road without doing anything. Finally, a man from Samaria came by. Now, one thing you should know about Samaritans is that Jews did not like them. Jews usually didn't trust Samaritans very well, so they never got along. And remember, the injured man was a Jew. So you would think that the Samaritan would just walk on by like the other two men. But instead, he stopped to help. He put medicine on the wounds and wrapped them with bandages. This isn't all. He loaded the man onto a donkey, his donkey, and took him to an inn where he gave the innkeeper money and asked to take care of the man. "Give him anything he needs," he said. "If it costs more than I have, I will pay you the next time I'm here." After Jesus finished the story, he asked, "Which of the 3 men do you think was a neighbor to the man who was left beaten on the side of the road?" The man who asked him the question in the beginning said, "Well, the one who had compassion and helped him." "You're right," Jesus said. "Now you go and you do the same." You see, what's so special about this story is that Samaritans and Jews didn't like each other, but they weren't even supposed to talk to each other. So the fact that a Samaritan took a risk to help a Jew was a really big deal. Let's see if Miss Susan can tell us where we can find neighbors in need.
Hi, neighbor. God shows us in the Bible and through Mr. Rogers that being a neighbor stretches far beyond the person who lives next door. If we stop, look, and listen, we will easily find ways to share the love of Jesus with neighbors near and far. The Bible tells us that the greatest love is to love others even before we love ourselves. You might remember that the word joy, J-O-Y, stands for Jesus first, others second, and you last. So how do we put others before ourselves? One way is to build relationships. Talk to people, ask them questions, and listen respectfully. Support others with encouragement and acts of kindness, even if you don't know them. Let someone else go first. Make someone else feel special. In other words, like the Golden Rule says, do unto others as you would like them to do to you. Treat others the way you want to be treated. We all receive God's love, but we're not supposed to keep it inside. We're supposed to share it with our neighbors. When Mr. Rogers was a little boy, he saw some scary things in the news. But his mother would always say to him, "Look for the helpers. There's always someone helping." Mr. Rogers encouraged his viewers not only to look for helpers, but also to be the helpers. You can also be a helper. At Philadelphia Presbyterian Church, we love to help our neighbors next door and beyond. Here are some ways you can participate. You can help our children's neighbors through Backpacks of Love, Bright Blessings, Claire's Army, the Angel Tree, and Christmas Tree Santas. You can help our homeless neighbors through Bright Blessings and Room in the Inn. You can help our hungry neighbors through Backpacks of Love and Rise Against Hunger. And you can support our neighbors who are vulnerable around the world through Heifer International. The world is full of people today desperate for good neighbors. Just as the Good Samaritan in our story helped someone in need, Jesus says to you and me, go and do the same.
It's time for Did You Know? Did you know that Mr. Rogers was really a Presbyterian minister? And another funny thing about Mr. Rogers, he was red-green colorblind, meaning he saw them both as the same color. And we can learn how to be a good neighbor from Mr. Rogers. He taught us to
treat everyone with respect.
We're all in this great, big, crazy world together, so we should treat each other with respect.
Be a good listener.
Listen with not only your ears, but your eyes, heart, and soul. Listen to understand the feelings and thoughts of the other person.
Love your neighbor and love yourself.
Listening to the other side doesn't mean you have to give up what you believe. It just makes the world a little more diverse.
And remind friends of their true value.
Mr. Rogers always closed his show by saying, "I like you as you are." Make sure your friends and neighbors know that you accept them as who they are, even if they look or act different or have different opinions.
Now it's time to sing a song with Miss Melinda, Lila, and Violet.
Hey Kingdom Kids, or should I say hi neighbors, since our lesson today is about neighbors. It's Miss Melinda and Lila and Violet again, and we're going to teach you a song about the Golden Rule. And actually the song is called Do Unto Others, which is the first part of the Golden Rule. It says 3 times, do unto others, do unto others, do unto others, as you would have them do unto you. And then the second verse says, be kind to others, be good to others, be fair to others, as you would have them do unto you. The cool part about this song is the introduction. It's a long introduction, and you get to play rhythm sticks. Or if you don't have rhythm sticks at your house, you can tap it out on the kitchen table, or you can do any kind of thing. You can do it on your legs, you can clap, any kind of rhythm that you can think of, okay? But the rhythm goes like this. Ladies, can we show them? It goes rest, 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4, rest, 2, 3, 4. Good job. That's all you've got to do. This is what the introduction sounds like, and I'm going to say 1, 2, ready, but instead of saying go, I'm going to say rest, okay? You ready, Violet? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, rest. 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 Perfect. And then we get to the verse. You ready to help me sing, Lila? Here we go. You're going to sing, Violet? Here we go. So let's put it all together and see what it sounds like. You ready, Violet? 1, 2, ready, rest. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, rest. We're going to sing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kingdom Kids. Have a wonderful week. Be good to others, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Since we're talking about being good neighbors, here are some random acts of kindness that we can do. You can clean out your toys and donate the ones that you don't play with anymore. With your parents' permission, you can pick a flower from your garden and give it to your next door neighbor. You can follow the golden rule and always treat others the way you want to be treated. You can call a friend or a family member and just check up on them. And one of my favorite random acts of kindness is to make a card for someone and mail it to them or just leave it in their mailbox. Now, go out and be a good neighbor and do a random act of kindness.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hey, before we leave you today, we just want to take a moment to congratulate our neighbors who just graduated, including our own Miss Caitlin.
Yay! We also want to recognize that today would have been Promotion Sunday for our Kingdom Kids. We can't celebrate with you, but we want you to know we are so proud of you.
Way to go!
Yay!
All of us at some point will either need help or will give help. And whether you receive help or give it, you have something valuable to bring to the world. And that's one of the things that connects us as neighbors. Mr. Rogers said that there are 3 ways to be a successful neighbor. Number 1, be kind. Number 2, Be kind. Can you guess what number 3 is? That's right, be kind. The people we meet are all neighbors, each with unique contributions that they can make to our community and to our world. And each neighbor is worthy of our kindness. So, won't you be my neighbor? We'll see you next time. Bye.